All right, so right now I am headed to Wegmans. It is March 13th, and we are in the thick of coronavirus. And people are kind of going crazy.
First, the unfolding coronavirus emergency.
New alarm bells ringing tonight on the coronavirus outbreak in this country as the number of dead rises. More confirmed cases tonight in New York and Los Angeles.
For schools, the Easter holiday period could be extended to try and stop the virus.
Cruise ships quarantined, meetings and conferences called off.
A lot of sports were canceled. NBA canceled or postponed their schedule for the rest of the season.
Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ, and it is monster. The Jazz and Thunder were scheduled to play a game tonight. That game was postponed. Now the NBA season has been postponed.
Just the fact that a lot of these things are so dramatic, it's causing people to really have worry. It was pretty picked apart. Definitely a dent in their inventories.
We had just met, like as a team, the director of operations, myself, Brian, and we kind of finished up, and then Hogan has this press conference where he announces that he's closing all restaurants and bars.
We have made the decisions to take the following unprecedented immediate actions in order to protect public health and safety. I have just enacted an executive order to shut down all bars, restaurants, movie theaters, and gyms across the state, effective at 5 p.m. today.
And the community heard, we're closing all restaurants and bars at 5 p.m. They didn't listen to anything after that, which was drive-thrus and carry-out can still continue operating as a business,
while allowing drive-through, carry-out, and food delivery service to continue. Essential services such as grocery stores, food delivery, pharmacies, gas stations, banks, and other essential services need to remain open.
I wanted to provide just a couple of updates because I think it's really important that the media gets out the information.
So I ended up having to backtrack and figure out, okay, we need our customers to know we're open. And you can see in that day, our 4 to 5 o'clock hour in any Chick-fil-A restaurant in this market was insane because people heard 5 o'clock and that's all they heard. First comment, Hogan said everything's closing down at 5 p.m. First comment right out of the gate, second comment right out of the gate was contrary to what he said. So then I was able to at least go back and set the record straight that we are in fact open.
So we're headed back out. Just to see what my dad's response is to the latest report from Governor Hogan, which is tonight at 5 p.m. All restaurants, bars, casinos are closing at 5. We'll see what happens. Carrie just texted. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna go check out. See what my dad's up to. A lot of people are worried for good reason. People are worried about getting sick and getting this virus because there's no vaccine for it and spreading like crazy. Every day the numbers seem like they're doubling. So here we go.
I'm battling a misunderstanding because the newspaper and because the news and the governor, the announcement was restaurants are closing. Well, there was a little like asterisk in there. Well, unless you're doing carry out or you can do drive-through. So that little piece, there's a lot of people that just heard restaurants are closed. So I'm trying to build awareness. So it's Joy's hitting with social media multiple times a day. We are open. By the time the governor had announced restaurants being closed, Chick-fil-A had already told us, you need to move to a carry-out, mobile order. You've got to stay in the drive-through. You've got to do mobile order out in the curbside. You've got to figure out a different way in order to run the business, because you cannot have anybody congregating and sitting and dining in your restaurant. His announcement was every restaurant, dining, every bar, every gym, they have to be closed by 5:00 p.m. And so we had already kind of set that up. Our dining room was already closed at that point, and said we just don't. And that was a lot of advice from Chick-fil-A. My name is Brian, and I have 2 Chick-fil-A restaurants located right here in the Crofton area. And we've been in the community for over 20 years. I think we first got wind of something happening. You know, it started out in Washington State, and I was really surprised at how quick this thing just escalated, ramped up. And so when you start to see the actions that we were told we needed to take, we kind of are listening to, here's what the government says. You go to websites, here's what the CDC is saying, here's what the World Health Organization is saying. And so I'm trying to gather information from all these places to see, all right, what do we need to be doing? Because I start to hear, it's the conversation, everybody's talking about it. Everybody starts sending out emails.
I think Sunday was when we were kind of all texting, and we were like, all right, Monday's the day, like big changes are gonna happen. Because of that, we kind of tried to prepare the team as much as we could.
I've got high school students who don't need to work. I've got parents, and I've got adults that they need to work. And so my first is to figure it out, okay, where are you on this spectrum? And all of you kind of have a certain level of understanding about what your normal hours are. I'm asking, what are you willing to donate? If you don't need as much, be willing to give some of your hours towards somebody else so they don't suffer more heavily. And let's weather the storm. So we're making adjustments as well.
They're managing a lot of the social media. That's who Joy is over there. She handles everything that's customer and community.
So my role with Chick-fil-A is I'm considered a restaurant marketing director, but I do social media work for multiple Chick-fil-A restaurants in the Baltimore market. So that consists of me just engaging our guests all the time through how we are as a company, caring for people, having fun. There's certainly there's a certain like personality. The way I look at it is like it's the extension of our dining room. Like when I'm interacting with guests on Facebook, it is our dining room online. Things started to really change when Chick-fil-A did put up a notice. They wanted everyone to kind of stop all postings.
And then my 2 directors are helping to manage communication to my entire teams of status, here's what's going on, because my team needs to know what is happening.
I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. What is it going to take for all of this to slightly go back to normal? Businesses are closing now, but until when? I think the point is, the people affected are not just going to be sick.
other interesting thing, though, I thought that was kind of cool about what I'm seeing on social media as it respects to Chick-fil-A, especially for kids and moms and dads, it's adding some normalcy to a routine that has been completely disrupted. So I'm getting messages, just personal message, because people know I work for Chick-fil-A, and they're like, hey, if I send my kid, can they walk over and still get carry out? So there's still those questions, but it's adding normalcy, and people are like, oh, I'm gonna get the kids, all kids meals tonight, take it home, and we're gonna watch a movie. So that's been kind of interesting that we're part of a routine that people love and enjoy and does provide some comfort. So for that, I'm really glad we're open too, because that makes people feel good.
I want people to know when they come here that we are doing things that are right technically, as far as cleaning and sanitizing and hygiene, but also doing things that, even if it's appearance-wise, we are paying attention to the detail. So when they walk in, the customers are saying, if I can trust any place to be doing this right, it's going to be Chick-fil-A. There are so many people in the population that the last 48 hours is disaster. It's anxiety, it's worry, it's stress. Why? Because they lost their jobs. The whole restaurant, as a rule, the majority of the restaurant industry just got shut down. And so we feel like that we're providing a sense of normalcy for people's lives. These people are stuck in most of the community is stuck in their home, and they have a little fear, they have some anxiety, they've got worry. But the one thing that, besides television and family, the one thing that I think that we're continuing to provide is a sense of that normalcy is, hey, somebody can run to Chick-fil-A, let's pick up a Chick-fil-A meal because that's part of our life, and let's continue to have that at home. And then there's people that are on the road, that are working, that are traveling, they need a place to stop and eat. So it's kind of nice that no matter which perspective that is, we're here for them.
You know, I remember when Joy put out that we were open, we were here to serve, and so many guests were like, thank you. Like, my kids would be so mad at me if I couldn't go to Chick-fil-A right now, or things like that. We've even had people get chilled nugget trays to portion out for their children for the week to have nuggets at home. So absolutely, that definitely keeps the faith alive and keeps us going, because we know that we're making people happy just by being open. And even for ourselves, you know, it provides food for us as well, and the fact that it's open, and again, hours and being able to still work. I was just talking to a friend this morning that said, you know, I'm so thankful that people still want Chick-fil-A because otherwise, you know, we would have to cut back hours a lot more. And so I'm very happy with the amount of support that we've gotten from our guests. That does definitely make it easier to come in every day to know that we're doing that for them. So yeah, I would agree. It gives a little bit of a joy for them.
I think I'm kind of thinking about the community and the role that we play there, and I'm also really thinking most about my employees and trying to keep them employed as long as I can possibly keep them employed, and whatever the restrictions and guidelines are, no matter how narrow that road becomes, I'll be okay with that. I can still keep my team employed.
Earlier this week, I strongly urged all Maryland citizens to avoid unnecessary travel. And we discouraged anyone from entering BWI Marshall Airport unless they are actually a traveling passenger or reporting to a job. After working closely with our county executives and getting their input and guidance, we have jointly made the decision to close all enclosed shopping malls and all entertainment venues across Maryland, effective at 5 p.m. today.
Things are moving very quickly, for sure, but I will say our team is phenomenal. They are great with change. They understand it completely. They know that Chick-fil-A just wants to do the best for our guests, and because of that, they just want to do the best for us. So they're really helpful with that, and I've been pleasantly surprised with how quickly they're able to adapt with that. So that's been really awesome.